as we consider this idea of God's presence with people in the Bible and his presence ultimately with us as well, the next person that I'd like us to spend some time thinking about is Joseph. You remember that Joseph was one of 12 brothers, and his brothers and Joseph, they had a very rocky relationship. His brothers were jealous of the fact that Joseph was his father's favorite. And ultimately that jealousy led them to sell Joseph into slavery and to deceive his father into believing that he was dead. And Joseph at that point had a choice in how he responded to this situation that he found himself in, where he went from being his father's favorite to a slave in the house of a man named Potiphar. And we read in Genesis 39 that Joseph found favor in Potiphar's house, that he was successful in Potiphar's house. And the reason that's identified here in Genesis 39 is because God was with him. This is what it says, starting in verse 1. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, and Potiphar, an Egyptian officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the bodyguard, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. The Lord was with Joseph, so he became a successful man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. Now his master saw that the Lord was with him, and how the Lord caused all that he did to prosper in his hand. So Joseph found favor in his sight, and he became his personal servant. And what we see in Joseph, I think, is that the presence of God enables us to endure difficult situations. Joseph was not in an easy place. He was a slave. He had lost his freedom. He had lost his family. He had lost that relationship, that favored relationship with his father. And instead, he found himself in someone else's house being told what to do, not having the ability to make decisions for himself. And yet, the Bible tells us that God was with him. And so even in that very difficult situation, he prospered, which seems kind of counterintuitive to us. How do you prosper in a difficult situation? Well, I believe that Joseph recognized that God was with him. And furthermore, Potiphar saw that God was with him. He somehow understood that the reason that Joseph was successful, that the reason that Joseph had the work ethic that he did, that the reason that Joseph had the integrity that he did, was because God was with him, and God was enabling him to survive and succeed in difficult situations. And it wasn't just that one time in Joseph's life. Later on, Potiphar's wife accuses Joseph of attacking her when it was really the other way around and she had attacked him. And so he is put in prison. And in verse 21 of chapter 39 of Genesis, it says, "But the Lord was with Joseph and extended kindness to him and gave him favor in the sight of the chief jailer." And then later on in verse 23, it says, "The chief jailer did not supervise anything under Joseph's charge because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made to prosper." So whatever circumstance that you're going through today, I hope that you will take hold of the fact that God is with you. And that when we understand that God is with us, it enables us to endure difficult situations in life. And beyond that, the fact that we're relying on God's presence with us to endure difficult situations may even be a witness to someone else that what's the difference with that person? Oh, the difference is God is with them. And that might cause them to question and give us the opportunity to share the truth of God's love and his redemptive plan.